Well, I'm back with another kind of different poppy videos. We're still doing a reaction, but we are going to react to my review I did on her album, I Disagree, this past January. Now, if you watch my main channel, you will know that some of my older album reviews are very cringy, and this one's not necessarily like cringy. I was starting to find my format for the way I wanted to review albums, and I was still very... I don't really know how to put it. I guess I was still very awkward when it came to reviewing albums. Plus, I reviewed this album like very early in the morning because I had listened at midnight, and then decided around like 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. I should say, to review this thing. And not only were my parents sleeping, but I was just like, now I gotta get up for work in a couple of hours, so it was exhausting, and I didn't get any sleep that night, so it was a little weird. But without further ado, without wasting any more time, let's just, let's see how bad this review was. I don't usually do reviews. Well, I do sometimes do reviews with a hoodie on, but I never had the hood up. I don't know why I had the hood up for this one. I guess because I was in my black hoodie, and I felt like this album had a dark feeling to it, so if I wear like a black hoodie and put the hood up, it'll be better. And then I like how I push it back, realizing that, oh shit, it can barely see my face. It's already not starting out good. When I first heard the song X last year off of her last album, I just kind of thought that was a one-time thing. The whole metal thing was going to be done after that. Just a quick experimentation. I did. Hearing Scary Mask on the Choke EP really gave me hope. Plus, I hadn't really been acquainted with her that much at this point in time. I really started getting into her at the end of the Am I a Girl era, but it was once the Choke EP came out that I was more willing to go back and listen to her old stuff. So basically, all I had heard up to this point were like the singles from her first two albums, all of the Choke EP, and Low Life off of the Bubble Bath EP, and then I listened to this album. So I really wasn't acquainted with her as much as I was now, so it's like, a lot different already. This is weird.
Stoop lettuce.
I forgot about my Stoop Lettuce intro. That was cringe in itself. The third studio album by Poppy, called I Disagree. Now, this character to me has always been a little bit, weird and whatever, until you realize the character that is being played here. Yes, it happens to a lot of people, Austin, trust me. I learned the hard way. I knew it was a character. It was weird, but I was like trying to figure out what the character was about, and I found it very satirical after looking more into it about internet fame and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, this character may be weird, but it's actually a good concept they put together here. She went from being this happy, sunshiny, bubblegum pop artist to more alternative music in a way, because it's not fully metal. Let me just put that right on the table right now. That's what I keep telling people. She's not fully metal. People who say she's metal aren't wrong, but they're acting like she's like super hardcore metal all the time. If you took your time to listen to I Disagree, you'll hear a lot more pop-driven songs like Sit and Stay, Sick of the Sun, and even some of the ones that do have metal music in them, like I Disagree, and Blood Money has a little bit of that tinge in there, and Anything Like Me. They're driven more by the pop-beer side of the album. It's not necessarily all metal, and she herself will never say that she is metal. It's just like something she likes to mix in with her music. It's not fully metal, but it's mixed in. There's a lot of thrash and a lot of nu metal elements that come into this. That too, yeah. And on occasions, metalcore. Yes, metalcore. Oh yeah, who can forget Bite Your Own Teeth? I forgot about that one. Yeah, very metalcore type vibe to it, at least with the breakdown and her 2008 Scene an Emo Kid blech that she just throws out there. Like, how did I miss that one? Some of the songs I found okay, but weren't my best. Concrete, I mean, is it alright in the kickoff? Yes, but I feel like the title track maybe should have been put as the kickoff. I think it would have fit better. My mind has changed on Concrete so much. I would put it up there in my favorites as well, and I do think it is a nice kickoff. I do think now I would change my mind. I'd be like, Concrete's a good kickoff, and I disagree. Following it is definitely a decent way to start the album. When I first listened, I said, I don't know. I disagree seems like a better opener, whereas Concrete would come second, but I can see why she put Concrete first. At first I wasn't vibing with like the 20 different genres at once, but the more and more I listened, I just could not stop listening after that. And I went, I underestimated this song, didn't I? Nothing I Need, Nothing I Need is Sit and Stay and Sick of the Sun. I stumbled over myself so much on this. It's like I stumble over myself now, but at least I have the decency to cut that out when it happens. This was before I started like cutting shit out and jump cutting, because I thought like a nice authentic review was just straight through without editing, and then I realized you have to edit some things, because if you're just going like and stumbling over yourself for like, how long is this review? Almost 7 minutes long. People are going to get detached from the review and probably just, stop watching, and then they won't know your full opinion on the album. So that's another reason why I'm not too happy about this review. It's more of the way it was done and complete than what I had said on here, because a lot of the things I said on this album, apart from a few things, I still agree on, but it's just the way this was put together that I don't necessarily like that much. After the first half is over, you kind of need that relief, and that's what these songs give you. Yeah, good point. The first 5 tracks on I Disagree are like the get up and go type tracks where they like get you into it. And then the second half, minus Bite Your Own Teeth, are like the ones where it's like, alright, now we're going to mellow out a little bit. And then Don't Go Outside is going to like, make you realize, hey, this is the end of the album, we can chill out, we can have fun, but it's going to end very soon. So, yeah, I mean, I guess I still agree with that as well. It's definitely one of those half and half albums where you get like intense one half and mellow the next. We have Anything Like Me, which, Anything Like Me, which, so upset I didn't go more in depth with this song when it came out. Or at least when I was reviewing this, because I, at the time, knew who this song was about and why she was making it. I guess I don't know, I think at first I'd like the song, but I really wasn't sure if I would end up liking it as much in the end as I do now, and like I said, to this day, the only thing I would change is moving Concrete from okay track to favorite track, so I'm still on board with what I have to say, but I would have loved to have gone more in depth with Anything Like Me, like I did with more of these other songs, because I think this was really the only song that I didn't go in depth on, and it really hurts me knowing that. Fill the Crown, which is, I think, the second single I had heard from that album, so those were that and I Disagree were the only 2 songs I heard, and I really, really liked the way it flipped back and forth between like this alternative rock and metal to more of a pop sound. It really transitioned well. I think my problem with this was I was looking for like the heavy moments on the album and not necessarily paying so much attention to the softer moments, and that was wrong of me to do. Just because I had heard she had incorporated metal into her sound, I was expecting like heavier songs every time, and when the softer songs came in, it threw me off. So again, not necessarily a great way going into things. You got to take everything into accommodation, and I don't really think I did that here. Kind of does what Kendrick Lamar did in Damn. If you remember his last song, he kind of reverses back to everything he did in the song, except in this one, the song reverses back to the songs I Disagree and Fill the Crown. People got mad at me for that comparison, but I was like, it's literally the same exact thing. At the end of Lamar's Damn, he rewinds everything and goes right back to the beginning to end the album, or just kind of goes back to everything to kind of remind you about the album. This does the same thing where, even though it doesn't really necessarily do the same thing as Kendrick Lamar's kind of rewind thing, she, goes back to songs like I Disagree and Feel the Crown and even Concrete. You can hear her say Bury Me 6 Feet Deep, quiet, not necessarily quietly, but it's toned down more in the final thing for that song. So people got mad at me for it, but I'm like, literally, the comparison's right there. She's doing the same thing, and it's a pretty clever idea when done correctly, and in this case it was. Yeah, an intriguing listen full of many different endeavors, and definitely one of the more darker albums by Poppy. Like I said, it used to be all bright, sunshiny, and all that, which she had some good songs doing it. Some good songs. Now you pretty much like all of her albums, so yeah, this video's not aged well, and I kind of appreciate the fact that it hasn't. And overall, it was just a nice listen.
Stupid.
Okay, album rating. Take a guess in the comments below before you continue watching. I know what I rated this album, but for those of you that aren't subscribed to my main channel, do that up here right now. Yeah, I rate my albums out of 10, so on a scale of 0 to 10, what do you think I rated this album? Spoiler alert, probably over a 6 because I've been talking good about it the whole time, but that's up to you. Sometimes I surprise people, so do that in the comments and we'll see what we rated this thing. So with this, I think I have to give it a solid 9 out of 10. Boom. 9 out of 10. And I still stand by it. I still think that a lot of the songs, minus Concrete, I feel the same about, and it's still very, very enjoyable. I mean, obviously, 9 out of 10 doesn't mean it's perfect. I think the only song I would say that's, like, not really my cup of tea is Nothing I Need. I wouldn't intentionally play that, but I've listened to the album straight through many times and haven't skipped the song, so it's not necessarily a skippable song. It's just not one that I would pick out of the crowd for the album, so it could have been a perfect score had I vibed with Nothing I Need more, but, I don't also throw out perfect scores that often because there's not a lot of records that have perfect scores, and sometimes giving a record a perfect score, you just never know how well it's going to hold up or how bad it's going to hold up, so you can't really give it a perfect score right away. You have to wait and whatnot and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that's basically where I wanted to leave it off at. That was actually my first review of 2020, was that in particular, and it's one where I like the review, but I look back at it and go, there's so much more I could have talked about, and I could have done this so much better. It was just kind of like, it was like I had mentioned, 2 a.m. in the morning, I wanted to speed through it and get done, and that was just a bad mentality to get through. So, yeah, that's basically it, guys. You can tell me if you want to see more comments like this, or more videos like this in the comments below. And yeah, if you haven't, click the upper icon to subscribe to my main channel if you want to see more album reviews. I'm still deciding. Poppy's new graphic novel comes out August 4th. I pre-ordered it to come, and I have been contemplating. I reviewed her first graphic novel on my main channel, and I've been thinking, should I review her graphic novel on my main channel, this channel, or both? And I'm kind of thinking both, so we'll see. But if not, just in case, subscribe to that main channel, because I know you're probably going to want to see it if you're watching this video. But anyway, until then, hope you're staying safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.